Alrighty, Aussie Army. This feels a bit strange without Danny here with me, but I've got Tom Jones and John Farnham to keep me company. Of course, on the channel, we did do John covering Long Way to the Top if you want to rock and roll. That was a lot of fun. Danny also recently put out a video that's basically sort of like a little trip down memory lane where he sort of looks into the early, basically our introduction to John on the channel and how yeah, how basically John helped us build the channel into what it is now. I definitely recommend you check that out. It's a lot of fun. But I'm going to check out a couple of legendary voices singing an equally legendary song. Long Way to the Top. Let's go, guys.
I reckon this is the quintessential rock and roll song.
Yes.
Written by some Australians.
An Australian rock and roll song.
Greatest rock and roll band in the world, according to this ACDC. And we can prove this is a fact. Called It's a Long Way to the Top if you want to rock and roll.
Oh, yeah. We know the feeling, right?
All right. I got Danny on pause control for me. Great minds think alike, because I was about to pause there. First of all, let's talk about John and Tom's chemistry. Uh, John is always very good at involving both the crowd and the entire stage personnel into his performance. It's one of the amazing things about John. It's something that's always stood out from our first reaction to him. He just sort of has this way of sort of unifying everybody under the banner of the song. And Tom, I'm not familiar with Tom's back catalog. I know he's sort of I guess done sort of jazzier stuff, but I also know that audience interaction and connection to the crowd is a part of his repertoire as well. So it's great seeing. Essentially it's a charisma overload. Both guys know how to play off another performer. They both know how to involve the crowd. So that's great to see. John, we know John's got a great rock and roll voice. John can sing anything, but when he puts his mind to it, he can put that focus into his sound. He can add that grit to his voice. And honestly, if ACDC needed a singer for a show, I think John could fill in very well. Tom has a much rounder sound. It's almost, I don't want to say operatic, but it does kind of feel like that. It feels like it sits a little bit lower, but it's a perfect counterpoint for John's sort of higher, more focused voice. So I'm enjoying this. It's catchy as hell. Both guys are giving it their all. Let's keep going. Yes, sir. That is true. That's true. Danny just informed me that at one point in time, Jimmy Barnes was considered for that lead singer spot in ACDC that eventually went to Brian Johnson. And that, oh, wow. To think what could have been there. Man. All right. Let's get to it.
Singing with this rock and roll band. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
run to the end. Um, ACDC is known for having a very sort of simplistic meat and potatoes approach to their songwriting. I think that's one of the things that's helped them last as long as they have because number one, this stuff is just so much fun. It looks like these guys are having so much fun playing and performing this. I also like their use of space in their riff construction. A lot of rock bands they just basically have a wall of sound that they kick at your face at full speed. ACDC knows how to use gaps in the sound, and that is a perfect spot to let a vocalist shine. Bon Scott didn't have the technically greatest voice in the world, but he was just overloading with rock and roll attitude and charisma. These guys have got that attitude and that charisma as well, but they are also like very, very proficient technical singers. Um, Neither guy here is a young man. I think Tom Jones might be in his close to 70 at this point, and yeah, they're just tearing the song up. I remember in the first Long Way to the Top reaction, there was a gigantic saxophone, I think. And here I don't see the giant sax, but they make up for it with an enormous trombone. So I guess if John's going to cover ACDC, there has to be an oversized brass instrument in the band somewhere. But that's another thing, like that spacious nature of AC/DC songwriting gives you a lot of opportunities to fill in the sound, with vocals, and in this case, with this huge orchestra and band ensemble. Yeah, like they've got backup singers. There was some piano there. It sounded like in the interlude. Yeah, it takes the original and basically it fills out that sound. The original is again, it's very bare bones, very raw. This one has this gigantic, almost symphonic sound to it, and it's awesome. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we've done a few covers of the song, Vanessa Amorosi as well, and of course, y'all know what she can do vocally. I can imagine all three of them on stage covering this. That would be all right. Let's keep going here.
Honey, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Tell them about it.
Now, if you wanna be a star on stage and scream, look out! It's really, really good fun.
Long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Honey, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. Long way. It's a long way. It's a long way. It's a long, long way. It's a long, long way.
Did you pause for I was getting into that. Uh, where's I go? Sorry, my brain is a bit scrambled by the awesomeness on stage. I also want to point out Tom Jones' facial hair is immaculate. That just reminds me I need to trim this eagle's nest here. Um, but yeah, John, he brings it every time. I love his random squeals in it. It's just, ow, which is very rock and roll, and it's also very John. Uh, Tom is again, he's got a much lower voice. It almost sounds like it's got sort of a blues and a soul base to it. And again, I think John can form this kind of chemistry with anybody. We've seen him do it with Anthony Warlow, with Olivia Newton-John, I mean, of course, all of these guys are consummate professionals, but I think John could probably pull a Foo Fighters and pull a kid up on stage and jam with them and still have that chemistry. But I love the amount of experience that you have on stage, and guys that are still in good form vocally. So you have that just that seasoned feel. These are guys that could probably perform the song in their sleep, and they're just having fun with it. There's nothing here that's going to tax them. nothing that's going to make them have to sort of stop and think about what they're doing musically. It's just a fun song that they're just getting into. And I'm sure this is something new for Tom Jones. I don't think he covers ACDC on a regular basis, and you can tell he's enjoying sort of dipping his foot in these uncharted waters. Um, again, I, sometimes that happens when you get older. You sort of lighten up. You basically you have less fucks to give. Pardon my French there, but yeah, he's like, hell with it. I'm going to cover ACDC with John Farnham. We're going to have a blast, and yeah, have a blast. They most definitely are. All right, so my boss, my friend, my brother Danny Lee OGT sent me a little bio here on Tom Jones. My first ever experience with Tom Jones, believe it or not, was with the movie Mars Attacks. I don't know if anyone was ever seen that. That old Tim Burton film. That's actually a lot of fun. But yeah, Tom Jones plays Tom Jones in it. Okay, so he's a Welsh singer. He started out in the 1960s. Yeah, he's 83 now. That's amazing. And has toured regularly since then. Uh, Appearances in Las Vegas from 1967 to 2011. That is amazing. Um, his voice has been described by all music as a full-throated, robust baritone. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been hearing. So yeah, Tom's been singing for a very, 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 very long time, longer than I've been alive. So props to him, and like I said, he still sounds in fine form here. He was born in Treforest, Pontypridd, United Kingdom. I have no idea where that is at. Yeah, let's see. He was knighted by Queen Elizabeth in 2006 for services to music, and yeah, he was a coach on the talent show The Voice UK. So he definitely knows how to stay relevant. So let's back to that.
Oh, yeah!
What is your considered opinion, Mr. Jones?
Well, I think this evening, all things considered, I would say it's a long, 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 long way. John Farnham.
So Tom Jones joining John Farnham for a cover of an ACDC song. It ain't unusual. It's not as unusual as you might think. Love that. It's just so much fun. It's old school rock and roll at its finest. The two of the classiest, coolest dudes you're ever going to run into, carrying the lead vocally. Love it. So, Aussie Army, it's been a pleasure hanging with you guys. Still feel a bit lonesome without my boy Danny Lee, but glad you guys could here join me for a little bit of rock and roll. Mental health is real. Take care of yourselves. So you can take care of each other. Be seeing you guys around.